We are back stealing more world records. This time, new addition to the series. If you saw the last one, I won't spoil what happened, but we do not know what the world record is this time around. We're trying it out this way. I think it's more exciting, so we won't know together until we decide to see what the world record is after the fact. YouTube, if you're watching, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Join the live stream, twitch.tv/DragonBlitz, so you can join in on the fun times of gambling, or predicting is the word Twitch likes using. Predicting whether or not you think I will steal this world record. And of course, always appreciate all you guys like, commenting, and subscribing. It's a free way to help support your boy, making this content dream a reality. Richter's been dripped out these last couple of seeds. You'll have to see the color palette rando. Dracula really in his green maxing era, it seems like. Very much liking the green cape, green collar combo. Doesn't want to get pinched for St. Patrick's Day. I get it. Good prologue. And of course, we are racing right now to beat the Spellbound Randomizer. This has been played a lot lately on the Discord due to tournament stuff happening. So we're probably going to be playing a lot of Spellbound. Not every seed is going to be Spellbound in the series. I do have a couple of seeds that aren't Spellbound that were still raced that I can try and steal world records from. And I hope they show up soon because we all know Spellbound is... It's too good. I'm spoiling myself, really, by playing so much Spellbound. The way that it works is I do not have access to any spells until I find the prerequisite relics to cast those spells. Relic stats are... item stats are randomized. And other than that, it's just safe logic, basically. So we are going to see relics in pretty standard locations, higher quality relics that unlock more locations are going to be deeper in the seed, harder to find because of the way the complexity works generally. Don't need any of that garbage. Let me move on. Yeah, basically you don't get to use spells. We're going to be playing Symphony of the Night. It's basically the Impossible Challenge, if you guys remember that series. If not, you know. We did a lot of Impossible Challenge, a.k.a. Spellbound, no-hit. It's like that, but we're allowed to take damage. Which means it's going to be easy for a gamer like myself, who is epic and the only person to beat the SotN Impossible Challenge that he also invented for himself. Am I doing Impossible for GDQ? I'm going to be submitting a few things. It's not going to be exactly the Impossible Challenge, but I am thinking about submitting a no-hit run for GDQ. And ultimately, it's up to the people at the games committee to decide whether or not any specific run gets in. So I'm going to be checking this again. I actually think this check is more worth it in Spellbound, specifically because we need weapons to do damage much more than we would in a normal run. Alucard's fists are pretty good, but they're not perfect. Bring back the 5-hit run for GDQ. The issue is that 5 hits... there's a lot of issues with doing that specifically, but yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if 5-hit does end up at GDQ for Ocarina of Time. Because that's where I stole the idea from. The Ocarina of Time community came up with it. I think it was specifically I Ate Your Pie, though? Maybe? He seems to be the one coming up with all the stupid, dumb challenge content. And we love him for it. He's a swell guy. It's the 5-hit run. It's a no-hit run, except you're allowed to take 5 hits. The reason it exists in Ocarina of Time is because there's damage sources that are guaranteed in the randomizer with ice traps and stuff like that. So to do a truly randomized no-hit run would be actually brutal. Axe Armor no-hit win? You know, maybe one day. Smiley face. It does look like shit as well, which makes it funny. Also, I'm throwing. More brutal than Red Rust, no damage. Don't speak that evil in my house. We don't talk about the red rust no damage challenge. It's struck from the record, okay? Would a SotN run where you must one-shot everything be fun? I don't think it's possible. Genuinely. I don't think there's a world where you one-shot Dracula or Galamoth or Shaft. Unless you extend the definition of one-shot to be use multiple damage sources. Which is definitely like, no. You'd have to have enemy stat rando and then hope that you rolled really low on the enemy stats. That's actually true crazy, yeah. Also, this seed is like really just the most standard start to a randomizer I've ever seen. Useless relics until we get to outer wall? No way! Never seen that one before. Well, Muramasa max damage isn't enough. You can do a damage glitch where you underflow your damage values, I think. I mean, with arbitrary code execution, you can do anything you want, actually. But yes, you can do much more than 255 damage in a single hit. I actually don't know what the damage limit is in SotN, if there is one. I imagine at some point the damage numbers, like the actual stored value in memory that shows the damage numbers, has a limit. But I don't know if it'll just like underflow at that point. It probably would. But is it 9999? So if you like try to hard stress test the system, you couldn't get better than 9999. Interesting. That's just something I don't know because I'm not like poking around at like memory values very often. The only times I ever do it is for like challenge runs, and it's usually I ask the smart people like Weecock or something in chat to be like, please help. Please, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm stupid. Help. And then I cry. So it does underflow to go to 9999? That doesn't make sense. Because that's not like a significant number in memory normally. Unless the way that it's handled in memory is very silly. Where it's based off of the number of digits being shown and each one is individually... I don't know. Again, I did very basic programming work ever in my life, and it was in college that I ended up dropping out of, so maybe 9999 is more significant than I'm giving it credit for, especially for a game programmed back in fucking 1997. Actually programmed earlier, for sure. I'm only here to look cool and play SotN forever. True. And I'm failing at both of it. There's nothing there. I got baited. I was thinking maybe doing that route is like better when you need items. I don't know. Our health is very low. They just capped the damage to 9999? Okay, so that's just a hard cap. That makes sense. Let's go, Wolf. Okay. To the library we go. I hope I don't die. I have been taking a lot of damage. Hydrate? I would never. You can't make me. Yeah, it's not even worth trying to fight these guys, I don't think. Like, yes, technically they could drop something useful, but, like, I'm good, brother. Eat your food? No! You can't make me do self-care. I refuse. We'll check you later. There's a funny story about this seed I can tell you later. Okay.
I'm interested. I'm interested.
Jewel of Open. Library card for 500. I need a weapon. I'm broke. I'm poor. Medusa Shield could do it. Actually, we're saved. Where's the library card?
Farewell for now.
Give me the pot. Give me the roast. Yeah, we're gonna come back and like pay attention to the shop more later. That's not enough to kill. Are these motherfuckers? Yeah, I just needed something to do with the books. 69 health. Let's fucking go. Lycanthrope? Ah, I wasn't looking. No, my 69. Where did that book come from? Dude. $68. It's not the same. It's not the same. Yeah, healing item stats are randomized. It's like all of the damage number values. I'm going the wrong way. Are randomized. Ain't no way I'm going to fucking Castle Keep right now. Again, I talked about it before on stream. This is a gamble, a pretty rough one at that. Because right now, Jewel of Open is the only progression relic we have. There are only 3 relics we have access to, 3 relic locations. One is in Castle Keep, which is pretty far. The other 2 are in Caverns, which are also very far. About as far away from each other as you can get. So, you're basically hoping to guess correctly here, and if you guess wrong, you instantly lose. So we are 12 minutes into the seed. If I guessed wrong here on a 66 to 33% chance, I will instantly lose this race to somebody who chooses the other option. Theoretically, there's a world where everyone chooses this and we're fine, but in a race scenario with enough people, everyone is going to eventually choose the wrong option statistically and then be rewarded for it. So, again, another reason why I've talked about randomizer skill expression as much as people like to meme about the term skill expression. This is just an issue with the randomizer as a whole. This has nothing to do with Spellbound. Spellbound makes it more painful, sure, but this is one of the very common examples of just guess correctly. Smiley face. I might die here, actually. Because without spells, how the fuck am I killing Scylla here? Probably have to use my Power Sire. And hope that it has a hitbox. There's a chance it doesn't. Okay, we're good. Oh, he's coming! Oh, Lord, he's coming! He's coming! What up, Doomberry? Help! Help! Nothing. Thank you very much for the 2 months. I appreciate you. And Doc Chris, the 18 months at tier 3, my man. Let's go. Some money for moving. Hey, I'll take any primes. Any primes are appreciated. The move is going to be very stressful. I'm very much not looking forward to it, but I'm very excited for once the move is done, because I should hopefully have a much nicer streaming space. Which, I mean, you guys can't see my streaming space because I live in a void. From you guys' perspectives, I have Hellfire. Let's do it this way. Come on.
That didn't count.
But I'm very much excited
right now.
at the idea of leaving Florida forever and not never coming back, because I do have family that lives here and I'm probably gonna have to come back to visit. Or if there's any like events or something in Florida that is like useful for job reasons, I'll probably come back. Fuck. Fuck. Dude, I'm getting freaking frogged. Was Alex Jones correct? Is it possible? Thank you, Knight C, by the way, for the 5 gifted subs. That's also going to help a lot with the moving. I appreciate it. Thank you. I didn't need to grab that. That could have been good. That also, I think, was a karma coin. I couldn't tell. The sprite was looking very strange. Eh. Where I move will probably have less frogs than Florida. Very true.
The game.
Yo, what up, Zengetsu? Thank you for the good luck on the move. I very much appreciate it. What did Dracula put in the water? Colonel, there's something in the water. It's changing the frogs. But what they say about Floridians being insane, is it true? Yes. I mean, like, this is good for us in the sense that, like, it's what we needed, probably. But it's bad for us in the sense that, like, we're kind of owned here. Yeah. Yes, Floridians are incredibly insane. It is a very weird cross-section of cultures and like economic pressures and like political beliefs that like makes for a very, very just insane experience living in Florida generally. And the thing that's crazy about it is it doesn't matter where in Florida, because there's different, like, depending on where you are, it's different levels of insane and different flavors of insane, but it's all insane. That's the best part about it. It's never not insane. Like, the type of insane that exists in Miami is very different than the type of insane that exists in Tallahassee. Or fucking, God forbid you ever end up in Eustis, Florida. Why would you ever go to Eustis, Florida? Don't ask. As a Swiss person, I'm glad I don't live in the US. I feel that. Look, the US has a lot of perks that are slowly being taken away from us. Not even slowly, it's been 2 months. I'm not gonna say it's all bad, but not great. Oh yeah, fuck Gainesville. Yeah, if you're not going there specifically to, as a student, just, there's no reason to be there. New Orleans sounds like fun. There's a lot of great stuff in the US. And actually, I don't know. St. Augustine is crazy. Dude, St. Augustine is fucking wild. That is true. I've unfortunately been to a lot of these places. Sarasota's not so bad. If you have money, yeah. But that's kind of like also all of Florida. You can insulate yourself from the dreck, the riffraff, the commoners. Ugh. Yuck, gross. I have to share space with the commoners. I've only been to Orlando for CEO Taku. Oh, cool. I went to CEO Taku once ever, I want to say. No, it wasn't Taku. Was it Taku? It might have been CEO Dreamland, actually. One of the CEOs that wasn't actually CEO.
Tribute. You
Whoa,
steal
Felipe.
men's souls
Maybe the 3 months.
and make them your slaves.
Look, I think there are great people in the entirety of the state of Florida. Most people are, well, maybe not most. I think statistically it's not most, but a good chunk of people are very just much normal people trying to live their lives day to day, like normal ass people. What the fuck is the stats on that shit? That's terrible. However, the powers that be will not let the normal people just exist normally in Florida. And a lot of that's also just supported by people. There's plenty of other people that are like, yeah, I think it's okay if I think it's actually fine that we like organize and exist in this fashion as a society. And a lot of it's just the fact that old people move here and have a very different outlook on life, which is fair. You're at the end of your life, or like your ending years, so you're gonna have a different thoughts and experiences compared to like young people who are trying to like grow and live their lives. Yeah, we finally got a weapon. Let's freaking go. Lay epic. Different outlook plus lead poisoning. The issue is, and this is something I was thinking about, we're going from a generation of people whose brains are melted because of lead poisoning to a generation of people whose brains are melted because of social media and plastic in their brain. So we went from lead poisoning to plastic poisoning, so that's great. And if you're a millennial, you're both. That's the best part. If you're an elder millennial, you get to experience the bright sides of both leaded gasoline and fucking microplastics in your brain. A lot of Gen X, actually, probably. Either way. Did I open the shortcut? Yeah, I did. Right? No, I didn't. That might bite me in the ass later. Brain rot is a meme, but real. Yeah. Yeah. Crap, thanks for my vote of confidence. Look, I am unfortunately a realist in this world. We have no transformation yet, so now we do this, I believe. We could also go back to Caverns. It's very possible, but I'd rather do this stuff now. Again, not having that shortcut might bite me in the ass later, but it's not the end of the world because we haven't done Alrox's quarters yet, so we could always use the Alrox's quarters checks as an excuse to go in that direction. Yeah. At least millennial brain rot was not political. You're funny. You guys are funny. Look, long story short, I've lived in Florida my whole life, not by choice. And I'm very happy that I finally get the chance to leave. And it's coming sooner rather than later. Also, that Marcel drop was fucking nuts, depending on if its stats are good. Can I please grab the Aquamarine? There is the Chrysogrim in the shop that we could buy, but I'm waiting for a good time to actually go to the shop. I don't want to waste my library card if I don't have to. We're 23 minutes in. I feel like we made good decisions as far as like turned out we were correct. Fuck you and your 0 damage fucking Marcel. Fucking love item stat randomizer, dude. It's so good for skill expression. Awesome, man. There's a lot I could say that I'm going to keep to myself. Sorry, Karma Coin enjoyers, but we're gonna have to wait. Was not checking the entrance correct. The thing about entrance is you can do it whenever. So like in general, you don't have to go around. It's out of the way and you can do it whenever in this scenario. So like, why wouldn't you hold off on it when you can maybe do it later with way better stats or better like movement options, you know? I was out of the caverns. I didn't have flight by the time I was out of the caverns. It was one room away. I didn't have flight at the time. I had gravity boots, but I didn't have leapstone. Gravity boots alone is not flight. That is a common misconception that people have with this game. You need both in order to do multiple gravity jumps. One gravity jump is not high enough to get to the entrance location. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what the correct answer for why the tier thing exists is. I don't think there's a good one, but that's probably just the next progression relic. However, I do want to save split here. Obsidian sword, interesting. The fact that it didn't light up the thrust on my tracker means it's probably like a katana or something. But yeah. Names tell the truth? Oh, so the tracker's just still bugged in that regard? Okay. I probably should have waited until I grabbed like Wolf or something to do this check. In fact, Wolf might be at Merman statue. So I am possibly throwing here by doing this now, so. Is Pittsburgh man worse than Florida man? I don't know enough about Pittsburgh man to comment. I've only been to Pittsburgh 3 times. And I've never had like a bad experience with just like random people on the street. To be fair, I very rarely have bad experiences with random people on the street in Florida, but yeah. As much as that's cool, I don't need it. As someone not from the US, I only know the Florida man meme. It's like pretty accurate. I would say like 1 out of every 2,000 to 5,000 people in the state is a Florida man. So it's not like enough to where like every day you're expected to experience the Florida man. Wait. I'm so dumb. I want to go to the caverns. Is this faster? Just go from here? I didn't even think about that because I have the shortcut open. Yeah, I should have just done it this way. So we probably lost like a minute doing that, not realizing that I should have just done it in this order. Yeah, we're definitely doing this the dumb way. If I could have a SotN item in real life, what would it be? Definitely Duplicator. Solve world hunger. Have infinite resources at any given time in your life. That's, you know, insanely broken. Streamer pretending to throw to make things interesting? No, streamer just being not very smart in this particular moment. Not to make things interesting, but because he lacks critical information and is mostly yapping with stream, which is another reason why it's hard for me to take these races seriously. When in deep down in my mind, like, yes, I'm good at the game, even though my sub alert says otherwise. At the end of the day, I just want to turn Symphony of the Night into a podcast excuse for you guys, really. That's all it is. Yeah, I was in podcast mode. I was trying to be comfy podcast mode for sure. It's not guaranteed that this is a progression relic, but it's very likely. It's gonna be shield rod. Nice. Can we replace the mace with like mace? Like spray mace? Modders, can we get this working? Also, why is it called mace? When like the weapon, like a mace, a thing you would bonk people with, exists, and then we come up with like a combination of like spices that irritate the eyes, and we decide, yeah, why don't we call that mace? Ah, what? Oh, I'm fucked. Dude, what the hell? Also, do I have healing? Not guaranteed healing. This is really bad, actually. This needs to be big money. No, my ice cream! Oh, no. Dude, we're throwing. Okay, 100. We're good. You can't win them all, chat. You can't win them all. And I can't even, like, do the classic fucking Oats and Goats defense of, like, calling everybody else that's playing a cheater. Maybe I should. The issue is I'm not doing live races, so I need to start doing live races for that to be effective. I have a relative in the US. I think that
came from a French mistranslation of macurd in Latin, referring to a red, spicy bark. Interesting fact, mace is actually a spice used in soups to reduce them.
Oh. I mean, I'm not gonna say that, like, getting maced is, like, cool or a good thing by any means. However, there's probably a very, very brief moment before it stings like hell where you're like, ooh, this is kind of tasty. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. But I would like to believe that there's a world where right before it becomes the most unbearable, unpleasant thing you've experienced, that you're like, damn, this shit kind of tastes nice, though. So, gold ring is at fucking sword card. Or in the caverns, or in the library. Or sorry, the mines of the library. That's very bad for us. Chat, we're not winning this one. This is one of those seeds where you're presented with like 6 different like branching options, one after the other, and you have to guess every single one correctly in a row to win. So, again, I've talked about it before. I can't take races seriously these days, which is why they exist as podcast entertainment in my mind. Like, how can I feel like, oh, I could have played... I mean, I made the mistake of, like, losing a minute in routing, but, like, that 1 minute routing decision is not going to make a big enough difference, genuinely. What happened to the lockout bingo races? They were fun. The tournament concluded, and there wasn't enough general interest in both the player base and like YouTube watching audiences for it to be generally a sustainable thing to continue doing, especially regularly. And also there's another tournament going on right now. So even if there was a like demand for bingo tournament stuff, I would probably try and be courteous to wait out the current tournament before doing another one. That damage increase is going to be very useful for us. My ass does not want to do Grand Floon right now. I'm going to be real. We'll save that for last. It's just a three-way guess here. If you just guess correctly, you win. And it's not even like you win, you just are up 4 minutes on your opponent in this one decision. When at the beginning of this seed, there was a other like three-way guess. Technically, it was like a two-directional guess. But there were 3 different relics to choose from. Kind of. And it's like stacking this guess on top of a guess on top of a guess. It's like how much of this is like actually skill testing? What if no one else guessed right? I mean, that's your only win condition. That's my only win condition, is hoping that nobody else guessed right. Right? Which doesn't feel great if you're trying to have any sort of say or control in your odds of winning. That's bad. I need to open this shortcut, much as I don't want to. And like, would it even be faster to go this way? Because I'm going second castle here. I kind of have to. I have to accept that the other relics are nothing at this point if I want to make meaningful progress. And it's not even like, honestly, this is a Durdrak W, potentially. If he has a strat for checking Spikebreaker early here with just Hellfire. And no, I have Summon Spirit, actually. Yeah, no, this is a Durdrak W. For sure. I have a library card to make it not as bad, thankfully, but if Durdrak is in this race, he's eating well. For sure. Because this is one where knowing how to do the dark room Spikebreaker stuff is very, very strong. I'm not doing item checks like that. I'm not that greedy. We just take what we can get here. No, I don't want any info. We'll figure out after the fact. Crazy. Dragon Helm. It's fine. I don't mind going in completely blind. And ultimately, like, I have zero faith that I'm finishing first here. I don't think there's a world where I can, genuinely, without, like, everybody else in the seed screwing up as much as me and also, like, playing worse. Like, screwing up as far as, like, decision-making, which is, like, definitely possible, but odds are not in my favor because it just takes one person getting luckier than me to just save a ton of time. You sent me the winning replay already. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Now going back feels really good. With a save split even. Whoa. This might be the gamble that we need. But the thing is like, I think everybody else is doing that, is the problem. Except for Durdrak. Because Durdrak has already checked it. Blech. At least our HP is nice. I kind of want to do it this way because there's a world where we get to use the library card now after grabbing, what's that, Spike Breaker, if it's like something good. Like if it's missed at Spike Breaker, that's huge for us. That means our library card gets to get a lot of value. Where we can check a lot of stuff. And use our library card and buy the Chrysogrim that hopefully has decent stats. Because, yeah, like, our damage is not great right now. It's, like, fine, but it's not amazing. This is a crazy nuts coin flip. You have to, though. Like, and it's not that crazy because, ultimately, I am checking a location that has a higher likelihood of being good, which in and of itself is like the best thing you can go for. It's one of the reasons why the merman statue not panning out was very rough, because it was technically the highest complexity location I could check. So the odds of it being required was higher than like any random check, because that's just how the complexity works out for the randomizer. And that just didn't go my way. So like I made the quote unquote on paper correct play and it punished me for it. And now since then, like everything's been very difficult because of that. And all it takes is one person being like, I'm going to delay the correct play for like one more check that I can do earlier, which could have saved them a lot of time.
EB. It was great listening to your so-called podcast for the last few years, but to hear you say I am good at the game, I am shocked, flabbergasted, as you obviously market yourself as someone bad at the game through various forms of messaging.
It's true.
I am not judging you. I am just disappointed that you resort to these expertly manipulative, deeply insidious marketing devices in the form of your subscription alert. To paraphrase Dracula, chat, forgive me, farewell my streamer.
I have 2 library cards? I thought I only had 1. Oh, that's a skill issue. New copy pasta. Yeah.
I'm interested in this.
Sell. Bye. Sell.
Like you.
I don't want it.
Like you.
Fucking delayed ass. Hee thank you. Chrysogrim is honestly good enough. This is one of the cases where buying 2 actually matters. And then there's nothing else that increases our... There's like a... No? Okay.
Farewell for now.
Where the fuck is the Chrysogrim? There we go. Now our win condition is hoping that the last 2 relics are in the second castle, I think. Otherwise, I guess we have our library card as backup, which is not good. Thank you, Doc Chris. This is one of those situations where it's like we technically have a majority of the relics right now. And the like baseline, what's the word I can think of? Like platitude that you can tell yourself when playing these randomizers to simplify a lot of decision making is, on average, based on the number of relic checks and the likelihood that the last Vlad relic is in the first castle because of complexity, the distribution of Vlad relics is most likely to be, doesn't mean it's guaranteed by any means, but most likely to be 3 Vlad relics in the first castle, 2 in the second castle. It's not most likely by a large margin, mind you, but that is the most likely thing. So when in doubt, if you need to say, fuck it, I need to win this on a gamble, I will gamble on 2 Vlad relics remaining in the second castle with like all of the checks still being left, except for 1. This is one of those moments where I do think left side is maybe slightly better because we have 2 checks to do. But our movement's not amazing. But it's not amazing either way, to be honest. So I'm going to say left side this time. This is ultimately, this is a gamble on top of a gamble on top of another gamble. And ultimately, it's my only way to win, so... And that is a thing that also exists in randomizer races where you make a mistake early on, or not even a mistake, but you guess wrong, right? It's in hindsight a mistake because you chose the wrong location due to random chance. And your way to make up for it is to go even double down, triple down on like another crazy ass gamble, which either means I'm going to be losing by like a lot this seed, or I'm going to maybe squeak out a win by kind of cheesing the odds here. Which ultimately, you know, that's how it works. Oh. Would I go back to the first castle if I got gold ring next? No. Because I found a Vlad relic at Spikebreaker, I can be pretty confident in assuming that that's the final Vlad. Which means any other complexity shenanigans are less likely to lead to another Vlad. So any sort of relic that increases the number of checks I can do is less likely in my mind to lead to an actual Vlad relic, which is what I need to finish the game. In my mind, the last 2 Vlads are random in their locations. Like, they're not tied to any sort of complexity chain. Don't hit me. Ooh. She jack all my bones till I owe. Another reason why I very much dislike this route, but it's how slow it is to get through here, but whatever. So you finally got sick of the Red Rush challenge. I don't want to do it anymore because it's not working as content for the main YouTube channel, and that ultimately is like the major dictator of whether or not I actually continue doing stuff on stream. I feel like the runs were doing okay on stream. It wasn't like my best content metrics-wise, but it wasn't like particularly bad. But if it's not doing well on YouTube, I can't justify it because that's where more than half of my revenue comes from nowadays. So... God damn it. I was hoping that that would hit him. Yeah, complexity is essentially the number of steps it takes to acquire a relic in the game. The maximum or not maximum, the minimum complexity for completion for this preset, I believe, is 8 or 9, maybe? It might be 9. I actually don't know the exact number. However, the exact number isn't like that important compared to understanding that high complexity locations exist. And if you are in a range of complexity values, like between 8 and 10, the final Vlad is almost guaranteed to be at a high complexity location. And those high complexity locations oftentimes are just the like 3 locations of like Holy Glasses, Merman, not Merman, sorry. Holy Glasses, Holy Symbol, Spikebreaker, Silver Ring. Like those are the most likely locations, like pretty much guaranteed to be final Vlad locations. So if you're able to check those locations early via out of logic tech or just like specific relics combinations that are not in logic, that can lead to information about the seed that lets you do plays like this, which is just gamble on everything being in the second castle. because I found the Spike Breaker, since I found a Vlad relic at Spike Breaker, I am more confident in assuming that Soul of Bat is in the complexity chain somewhere, and that is probably locked by another relic. So with all of that in mind, it's like the game probably wants me to go on some fetch quest to get Soul of Bat and then get the final Vlad relic there. However, I can try and bypass that fetch quest by just going into the second castle hoping to find the Vlad relics that are just randomly thrown about the game, which is possible, but we'll see. It's a very common like play when it comes to randomizer racing for Symphony of the Night specifically, and it has been an important aspect of Symphony of the Night racing for a long time. So for me, I most of the time don't have to like calculate the odds because I've been in these situations so often or at least in similar situations so often that I can make these plays pretty confidently. But it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to be correct. I'm still hoping to a certain degree that playing to the most statistical likely outcome pays off, because it doesn't always, because we did that earlier in the stream, earlier in this race, and we were screwed because we chose the quote-unquote most statistically likely outcome. I thought the game just crashed. But no, that's just Windows being Windows. Well, if I lose this race by 5 seconds, you know why. More like a kind of inductive gut feeling. It is, I have, through the years of experience playing this randomizer, that ultimately, it's the same, turn around please, bones. The randomizer hasn't really changed as far as like what complexity and what logic exists for a very long time, such that relic locations do tend to follow a specific pattern on average. However, you can still end up in a scenario where I'm making the correct statistical play. Like, we know these are the correct statistical plays due to just rote experience, right? But it doesn't necessarily mean that choosing the correct statistical play means you are guaranteed to win. Because, yeah. Like, if I have a 70% chance to find the Vlad relic that I need, not at Galamoth, which is currently probably pretty correct, doesn't necessarily mean that Galamoth doesn't have the Vlad relic. But I'm still going to skip Galamoth. I've done more than, yeah, I've done more than 1,000. I thought that was 1,000 randos. No, I've done definitely more than 1,000. I mean, I uploaded between the two YouTube channels daily rando content almost for 5-6 years. So, and many of those days I'm doing, you know, multiple randos. So, Ebdane, thank you very much for the full year. Hell yeah, let's go. Also, no, the entirety of the left side, not a single movement relic, like wolf or bat or anything like that. That's kind of shocking. Yeah, that's probably wolf, which leads to fighting Akmadon or Alrox or something. We can do the Akmadon skip in case that ends up being progression somehow. The only thing it could be that's useful is Soul of Bat, though. And we don't even have Wing Smash, so actually, who cares? I don't think there's a reason to do Akmadon then. Unless it's shared complexity? I actually don't know. I don't know what the play is. I think we skip Akmadon. Well, it could just be... Nah, it's just random. Yeah, it's just random. Because it's in logic. at some point that we find a transformation. And it's not necessarily guaranteed that he would be a progression source because of it. I don't know. I'm putting it off for now. Maybe I'll save split for it. If there's nothing here. Oh, it doesn't matter. Yep. Thank God. Again, this doesn't guarantee that we have world record by any means, but it at least means that one of my plays paid off. And we'll see if that's enough. Again, I don't know what the record is, but I am now a lot more confident having skipped Akmadon the way that I did. I'm gonna die. Jesus fucking Christ. Stupid ass Asgol, get out of here. But I also did left side, but left side was required to a certain degree, pretty deep into left side. So this route is actually all right. Ish. It's like pretty even, if not maybe slightly worse than going right side and skipping creature. Right side skipping creature is technically... No, because I would have also done Akmadon and maybe Beelzebub. So you would have to do right side skipping Akmadon and Beelzebub and creature for it to be better. I don't know. Again, that's like a absurd level of like coping. Skipping Akmadon makes sense because not everybody's going to go for the... there's like a dive kick technique that you can do to skip past or skip into the Akmadon boss fight without a transformation. But not everybody's going to be comfortable doing that. Or if, in this case, it didn't even make sense to you. So, I don't know. Anyways, double Crystogrim this time around because the Crystogrim's a little weak in the seed. Yeah, it's definitely a lot weaker than we had it in the other seed. Yeah, that is a thing. It's relatively new, I want to say. It's like within the last couple of months it was discovered to be possible. Mermaid Snorkel cost the run, if anything. Yeah, but I don't think there's a world where people aren't doing that check at some point. So, again, I feel like you'd have to have like an insanely lucky seed. Like you'd have to guess correctly like a couple of times and also do a lot of kind of risky skips on top of that. Because I had to do risky skips to get to where I am. So, I don't know. 57:29.
Go back whence you
All right.
came. Trouble the soul of my
Do we know what the final time was for world record?
World record was 1 hour and 24 seconds by yours truly.
So defeated.
Close one.
You have been doomed ever since you
Damn.
lost the ability to love.
Well, we got lucky yet again.
Sarcasm. For what
Holy.
profit is it to a man if he gains the
So what
world?
happened? What's the funny story you wanted to tell me about this?
Matthew 16:26, I believe.
Let's go ahead and check out that replay.
Tell me what.
Shout out to Talik for making this amazing replay system, by the way.
She said, do not hate humans. If you
Right.
cannot live with them, then at least do them no
Let's
harm.
do that. Let's get the music bumping. Let's take a look at these replays. Go. 1x speed, me watching YouTube for maximum brain rot, pushing that shit to 5x speed. Damn, that shit took you. You had a bad prologue. What the hell was that? That prologue was kind of rough. Am I correct in saying that? Hit the gym in response, get swole, my friend, or get lean, or just get healthy. Whatever your goals are, go for it. Save room, yeah, you were probably low on HP as well. Makes sense. The seed was really rough. Not a lot going on early game as far as items or progression. I imagine most people Did you not have enough money to buy the library card? Is that why I saw you going back and forth there for a second? Huh. So far, this route is basically the same as what I did. Oh, you used the thrust sword. I never checked for the thrust sword. Right? The tracker not showing the thrust sword anymore is annoying. Use Toadstool to get into the Coliseum? You went all the way to keep with that start, so I started like multiple minutes behind. Yeah, I mean, why would you go to keep? Simply guess correctly. I don't know. That's rough. Yeah, checking this early would have saved a lot. So I'm assuming, why would you use the Toadstool? Do you not have a thrust sword? How else did you get up here? And you have Leap Stone. Wait, what? This is my replay. Durdrak used the Toadstool to get to Coliseum. Oh, I thought that was you. That's insane. You're wild for that one. I think this route is defensible. Yeah, if you haven't been here yet, I think this route's fine. I personally am a bigger fan of doing it this direction, but... Oh, you're going to second castle now? I feel like that's earlier than I did it, no? Oh, but you don't have this yet? Okay, so I guess it's going to come down to when you go back to the first castle and how. Very interesting. Do you go back immediately with Spike Breaker? You do. Okay. That's fair. Yeah. That's fair. I mean, I did the same thing. Do you do Silver Ring as well now? Yeah, get that out of the way. Not Silver Ring, but yeah. Yeah. And yep, like I said, I think nobody is leaving this behind if they have the chance to do it. It's a high enough complexity location that it's probably worth doing, but unless you're mega gambling, maybe.
Tribute.
Blue, thank you for the 10
You
months.
steal men's souls.
Ooh, no library card.
And make them your slaves.
Instead, you're doing Grand Floon as well. Library card now? Yeah. That's fine. Honestly, the Grand Floon check might have been the difference maker. Because I definitely didn't check Grand Floon's ass. And that's because I felt pressured because I made the mistake early on. So sometimes making a mistake early on pushes you into gambling, like I said, and picking the correct route because of it. Yeah. Also not doing the... Yeah, it literally came down to Grand Floon. Wow. Other than that, our routes were pretty overall even. Because, yeah, you're doing literally the perfect route in the second castle. This is the route I was talking about, where second castle actually mattered a lot. You lost time checking Aquanaut out of logic. I think that's a defensible play, thinking about it, because he could be a random Vlad, but he also has the chance to be a complexity Vlad. So, in my mind, I was like, kind of iffy. It's kind of like a 50-50. So, there were no transformations. There were transformations. We just skipped grabbing them. Transformations are probably in the locations we didn't check. So, like, the tracker doesn't know, or the replay doesn't know where relics are unless you grab them during your playthrough. So, either way, somehow we snuck out another win. GG's. If you enjoyed watching, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join the live stream, twitch.tv/DragonBlitz, and I'll see you in the next one, YouTube. Have a good one. Bye-bye.